Ready?
Yeah,
3.
I'm already on it.
Okay. Welcome to the latest episode 5 on the floor of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Thanks for joining us in your favorite podcast app on Apple Podcasts, on Android. We recommend Spotify. Also, check out the 5 Reasons YouTube channel for all your South Florida sports content. Also, Off the Floor, that's our Discord server, the place for the most heat anywhere. Links right here in the description. You'll bypass the Apple upcharge. This is, again, the place for the most heat information and conversation. It's Off the Floor. The place for fantasy, football, basketball, hockey, baseball, it's PrizePicks. Go to PrizePicks.com. Use the code 5, F-I-V-E. If you see another code there, delete it. This code will get you the best deal. Use the code 5, F-I-V-E. Play your $5, and you get $50 in free lineups. They'll be right there on the Explore page. Check it out. PrizePicks in the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, or PrizePicks.com. Use the code F-I-V-E. And now, today's episode.
Uh-oh. Yeah. It's Mercy. Music by Mercy again. Heat Nation, we the culture. Yo, E, I need you to call timeout. Need Brady to set the floor plan. Tropical blanket, open for the shot. Yo, Greg, set the pick. Still 5 on the floor, still ride for my dog. Still battle on the court, still survive in the war. Keep your eye on the ball, or get burned from the keep this mic off the wall without turning the cheek. From night to day, no sleeping pads or allowed to morning. The nut is sleeping us, never catch us snoring. Live from Miami, report in the heat with 5 Reasons Sports from the courts to the streets. Yeah. Wake County, Heat Nation, we say it proudly.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, Alex Toledo, Brady Hawk, and others from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Also, make sure to subscribe to Off the Floor for the most heat anywhere.
Going. Today's floor plan, I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick in the 5 Reasons Sports. I got Greg Sylvander. You can follow me at Greg Sylvander. Is this game over with yet?
No, it's not. We are currently potting just to show you how honest we are to our listeners. We are potting with 4:43 to go in overtime in the Heat's preseason game against the Atlanta Hawks. It is tied up at 102, but we are not waiting for overtime in the preseason.
We're not. We're absolutely not. So the Heat may or may not win their first preseason game tonight. If they do,
be the first win since like April, right?
Yes, and we'll throw a parade, pots and pans. No, we're not going to wait for this. We're just going to get right to it because this was not really encouraging tonight. And I'm not going to make too much of anything. Why am I holding a napkin? I'm not going to make too much of this one way or the other. Okay. And the wins and losses don't matter. But the Hawks tonight, did not play a rotation player. The only one who's even borderline rotation is their first-round pick, Asa Newell. Yeah. The rest of the guys they played are mostly G Leaguers. They're not even rotation guys, as I said. No Trae Young, no Jalen Johnson, no Kristaps Porzingis.
No Dyson Lamont Butler, though.
He always kills Miami. But they didn't have a lot tonight, and the Heat started some interesting decisions here. They did start Ware and Bam together. Spoelstra did. We finally saw minutes with the two of them together. Wiggins started. Powell started. Powell's score is real easy. I mean, that's been pretty clear throughout the entire preseason. And then Drew Smith started at point. I don't know if you want to read into that, but I've been suggesting over the last week and a half, and people call me crazy, that Drew Smith may end up starting over Davion Mitchell for the first game because Spoelstra may want to keep the bench rotation or whatever it's going to be intact and let Davion get comfortable off the bench. And then when a hero comes back, he slots in for Drew. I'm just saying he had both of them available tonight and he started Drew. Okay. But the overall thing here is that with the exception of Hero and Jovic who are out, the Heat pretty much played their rotation and they were getting run early in this game. And this is my biggest concern with this team now. And look, Brady has said this. Adele has said this. They probably don't have enough shooting, especially until Tyler is back. And tonight what did they, 3? Again, I know there is some back end of the rotation, G League guys that got in at the end.
No.
What are
You're
they, like
right.
3 of 32 or something like that from three?
I'm really glad that you started here because this is the core issue. Like, first, we're talking about them needing to shoot more 3-point shots just because in today's league, you can't survive shooting on the volume that they were initially in the preseason. Well, guess what? Tonight, they got up, well, right now in the midst of this game. And as we're potting, it's 109-107 with 3:19 to go in overtime. The Heat are losing by 2. They are 5 of 32, excuse me. So they just hit one, 15.6% from 3. That is abysmal.
Yeah.
So although they just took a 1-point lead, as we're doing a little bit of live scorekeeping here, that's just, I mean, to shoot 15% is awful.
Yeah. And this is a trend now. They were, I mean, Ira tweeted this at one point that like they had the fewest threes in the preseason of all NBA teams, and then also of 2 international teams that played against NBA teams in the preseason. So they were actually not 30th in the league; they were 32nd. That can't have gotten better. And again, Brady has harped on this, and let's just break it down from a roster standpoint, because again, we know not everybody is in there right now, and Tyler is the main piece, but they don't have a shooting specialist anymore. They've had one in the last few years. It was either Duncan or Strus, I guess, and at times it was both. They don't have that. Fontecchio, I guess, could be that, but I don't see him getting the minutes to emerge in that role. And tonight, didn't he got hurt tonight again too, right?
Well,
Like
he's 0-4 tonight.
He's all for, and he missed.
He's not going to replace the gravity that Duncan Robinson gave them. And I've said from the jump that having their 2 best 3-point shooters be Norm and Tyler, who are your volume shooters also, was going to present challenges. And you just were wondering, were a few of these other guys going to shoot well enough, above their head enough to keep defenses honest? And it's tough to see who those guys are going to be as you just look across the roster. Andrew Wiggins, 0 of 3. Bam was 0 of 3 from 3. And even Norm, who has played well, was 2 of 7 from 3. So he's not your marksman from out there either.
Well, he can be. But here's let's go through the likely lineup and rotation, okay, and what the reasonable expectations are for these guys from 3-point range. All right, let's assume, and I'm going to assume right now, that the starting lineup to start the season is Bam, Jovic, Wiggins, Powell, and Drew Smith.
That's fair.
Okay, so no Tyler yet. We'll do the bench guys after the break.
Yeah.
From that starting lineup, I am not expecting consistent threes from Bam. I think there will be pockets of the season, as there were last year, and there was towards the end of last season, where he's featured in that way a little bit more. I have said over and over, I prefer him to shoot the corner ones that come in the flow of the offense, and he steps out a little bit more than some of the, I don't really have anything else, let's just shoot it from the top of the circle. I don't think you can count on it. I really don't. I think he's capable. We saw it again in the last 2 months of the season, but I don't think I'm going to be turned on this like I was on Bosch. Okay. I don't think Bam is suddenly going to go out there and start making 2 or 3 threes a game. I don't see it.
Not now.
Not now. Okay. All right. And by the way, he got hurt tonight, although he was back on the bench afterwards. It looked to me like he turned an ankle, but they said knee
contusion. And
we'll see.
Usually guys can come back from that pretty quickly, but they need to be really careful because a whole other episode could be done on what the hell does this look like with no Tyler and no Bam.
Yeah, well, and look, hopefully a knee contusion is not a knee bone bruise, although and like Dwayne Wade suffered with for years. But we don't think it's serious, but I don't think we'll see him again in the preseason, nor should we. Okay, so Bam, I'm not expecting a high volume. Jovic can make spot up threes. His percentage has tended to settle out at a nice number, but he can be kind of inconsistent from out there, and it's not what I want to see him focusing on. I want to see him focusing on pushing pace,
playmaking,
making plays for others. But he's capable, but again, not relying on him. Wiggins is streaky. You look at the course of his career, there are periods of time. He has a very sort of low arc jumper. He goes through some stretches where he doesn't shoot it particularly well for a while. I don't think he can be counted on unless he's in rhythm to be a consistent 3-point shooter. I think it's more mid-range stuff for him. That if he again gets in that rhythm, that he'll probably gravitate towards then, basically secondary scoring option on possessions, kind of forget about him, and then he makes a play. Like, I feel like that's where it's at. I don't think he's going to be a consistent 3-point marksman. Powell, yes, but I don't want him doing just that. Like, one of the things that's been impressive about Norm in the games thus far, he gets to the basket easily and he finishes. He had a really nice finish tonight, a reverse. He knows what he's doing around there. I think his first step is quicker than people have given him credit for.
9 free throws tonight, by the way.
That's huge. And he's good from the line also. He's over 80%. So these are all positive developments with him, but he's not, and he's going to have big 3-point shooting games again in rhythm, but I don't know. I don't know if you can count on him for 3 threes a night either. And then the point guard position, start with Drew. If Drew is the starter, Drew shot the ball pretty well from 3 last year before he got hurt. It's probably the one thing that with the Achilles is not going to be affected that much. I haven't seen his play that affected by it either, overall defensively or whatever, but he's only going to take threes as a last resort. Even last year, he doesn't force the action on that. So it's a kick out to him. There's nobody around. He'll take a 3. The overall point here, as we get to the subs on the other side of this, they don't have anybody in that group who's creating any gravity.
Yeah.
None. Okay. None. Norm is not, I don't think Norm is going to create, as good as Norm is, he's not going to be guarded the way that Duncan was guarded. And that is something I know that they wanted to get away from Duncan, and I get it. I understand it. Go younger, give him an opportunity somewhere else to get the contract that he wanted. All fine. And look, there were times over the past couple of years since he hurt the back, okay, that his overall play kind of went back to where it was before instead of that peak that he had. I understand all of it, but they don't have anybody to replace that. They don't. And Tyler, we'll get to Tyler in a second, but I'm going to let you handle the bench on the other side of this. But I just want to make that point that, like, this is problematic, I think. I think there are going to be a lot of 5 for 32 nights. I do.
Because what is the other option? Put Norm and Tyler in a corner each and then let Bam and Nico run the offense and, like, hope that those guys create your space. That doesn't sound viable. So
no, but it's something that Brady suggested when we discussed this, when we talked about, okay, what are they going to look like offensively? It's one thing to push the pace. I get it. You want to push into easier shots. You still got to make the shots. That's what my concern is right now. All right. But here's another concern. You don't want your money going somewhere it shouldn't go, or you don't want to be taking money that's not real money from someone and there's fraud involved. And that's why we tell you about Cash App. Yes, they are back with us, but we've got a new code. We got a new code for you. We're going to give this to you here in a second. We want you to use this code, again, to have the best possible experience with your money. This is not something that you can play around with, especially because we know all of the scams out there. I have Cash App. Everybody here, the 5 Reasons Sports Network has Cash. Well, not everybody, but everybody at 5 on the floor does, and everybody else should. Built-in card security that keeps your money safe and the protection you expect. When you get the Cash App card, not only do you get access to a ton of perks and benefits, like exclusive early access to nationwide concert pre-sales or discounts on popular brands, but you also have the extra security with the power to instantly lock or unlock your card right from your phone in just one tap. If a suspicious transaction pops up on your card, Cash App has your back by automatically declining the purchase and sending you a heads up to confirm if it's you or not. Behind the scenes, you can rest assured knowing your account balance is protected 24/7 by 24/7 fraud monitoring. Spend with peace of mind today and order a Cash App card in the app or at cash.app/card. For limited time, new Cash App customers can also earn $10 if they use the code SECURE10. That's SECURE10 in their profile, different code than we had before, at sign up and send $5 to a friend. I'll take it within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Discounts provided by Cash App, a blocking brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. All right, let's get to the bench. Go ahead. Sorry. Oh, do they win?
They're 40 seconds away from their first victory, 116-111, as we continue to talk. And the bench...
Capable of blindness.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the bench tonight, or do you want me to just talk about it holistically as they enter the season?
No, not tonight. I don't care about tonight. I'm talking about what likely they're going to have on their bench. So let's just put it this way. If Drew Smith is going to start,
then Davion is definitely going to play.
Davion, Larson, Jaquez, and where?
Yeah. And then Fontecchio, like that's the guy
Maybe.
who they have to hope maybe can be the 3-point shooter, but I'm not sold on that yet. So then it's like, is Jaquez about to take that leap? I do want to credit Jaime Jaquez for playing well tonight. He 7 of 14, 17 points off the bench in 25 minutes. So he was aggressive. He's done some good things. He looks like he's closer to himself. I'm not ready to go there completely. But to your overarching question.
But Greg, before you go on, but him doing some good things, which is welcome, is not moving them in a 3-point shooting direction. Because we don't want him shooting threes. We want him going downhill and
they don't
dunking
have
on
that
people
guy.
and maybe not spinning so much, but getting in the basket. No, they don't. They don't.
Is
And that's the
Davion
problem,
Mitchell?
right? Because if 45% last year, but I don't know that anybody believes that that's going to be replicated except him. He talked about it, and you hope he did, and that they've tweaked his shooting for him a little bit. But yeah, if you look, okay, first thing, I don't want Ware shooting him consistently. It's not where you look. It's nice he has it in his game, but I feel the same way I do about Bam. Like there are other things he could be doing that are more important, and that you want to train him to do. That are more important. Going to the basket, finishing dunks. Okay, that little the spin he's got into the hook, like that kind of stuff. Yes, okay, he's got nice touch around the basket. Let's work on more of that. Okay, but you don't want him shooting a lot of threes. Jaquez, I don't want shooting any threes. Like literally, don't shoot threes. Like I know they talked about it last year, but it's not his game. And Davion, and then who's the other? Larson. Larson, we have questions about the shooting also, right?
Yeah, I would prefer he not shoot threes. And then, so you know what this means is either none of these guys are going to provide the shooting, and this is going to be a big fatal flaw, really, in today's league if they don't find shooting, or some guy like Gabe Madsen or Myron Gardner is going to come out of nowhere and be that guy, because we've seen that happen before. But we haven't seen any indications of any one of those guys popping so far in the preseason. I guess another guy that we should give a shout out is Ethan Thompson. He has been, trying to be a shooter on this squad, but it hasn't gone particularly right in the preseason.
Well, here's the problem with it is if you start going deeper and deeper into this bench to find a Myron Gardner or a Ethan Thompson or something, then you're taking away minutes from a more talented player who just doesn't shoot threes very well. And this is the balance that they're going to have to find. Like with Fontecchio, we're kind of like, all right, he has shown himself to be an NBA player. Against the Heat, he's shown more than that. He's shown himself to be an NBA player, and he has this shooting ability, which he didn't show last year. But figuring that he's healthy, gets in the right system, that maybe it pops again. So you could talk me into him getting rotation minutes, okay? But some of these other guys, like, are you taking out what Jaquez or Larson offers because they don't shoot threes for one of these? No. Yeah. Are you taking out what Davion offers defensively if he happens to revert to the mean early in the season from a shooting perspective? No. And is Spo ever taking Drew out? No. So that's why it has to come from this group. And the answer to it is not Ware and Bam stepping out more or Wiggins forcing it too much. They really, honestly, I don't know what the answer is. Actually, I really don't, because it's going to have to be that, Jovic gets really comfortable in his spots, and honestly, it's Tyler coming back to save them, right? Like
and Norm. And if Norm is just really prolific offensively in general, that's going to obviously ease the burden. And then you just hope guys like Wiggins, Drew Smith, for instance, if they can hover around 39%, that's going to help the team overall. I don't know what kind of volume it'll look like, but that's the kind of stuff they're going to need. And then they're just going to need really prolific seasons from Tyler and Norm for this offense to work, or go the opposite direction and shoot no threes. But that's another podcast.
Well, and look, I know. And it's interesting because over the last week, it seems like the national media or some members are warming to this team. We saw Jason Timpf, Bontemps making suggestions that this could be a top 4 team in the East, or maybe even a conference finals run. One of them said, Matt Moore. Yeah, there's people are starting to warm to this team a little bit. Okay. And I understand why, but then I pull back a little bit as someone who's done 100 podcasts in the last 3 months or whatever. And I'm like, okay, in the modern NBA, what do you need to be successful offensively? Well, you need to be prolific on volume from three, and you need to have a couple guys who can just get easy baskets or break you down off the dribble and get to the line. And this team doesn't seem particularly equipped as constructed to do either. They've got a lot of nice players who do a lot of nice things, but it's like, okay, there's the 3-point shooting. Again, unless Norm and Tyler are really gunning and they get one or two other guys, Jovic, okay, would be my bet on it. Or again, Davion, maybe it wasn't fluky last year and he stays in the high 30s at least. Like I think a couple, then okay, maybe they'll get by with it. The breaking it down off the dribble, they don't have that guy. Like I've been impressed with what Norm has done. We know Tyler's ability to make plays, but he's not blowing by anybody, okay, and getting a bunch of N1s. They're missing those two elements, and that is again why it makes sense that Spo's strategy was, okay, let's just play faster. Let's beat people to spots. Okay, let's make quicker decisions. And all of that is good. But this is my concern. I'll let you close with it. If they have games where they're not getting the line for the cheap and easy points there, and they're not hitting threes, they're having one of these games where they're 2 for 16 in the first half from three, okay? Then all of a sudden, you start to go mentally, right?
Yeah.
And then the way that Spo wants you to play, which is faster, thinking quicker, like you don't execute that quite as well. He's going to have to find that balance this year because I'm concerned about the easy points from the line and the extra point from three. If it's just going to be about a lot of Wiggins mid-ranges and Bam stepping out to the 2-point line, you're not going to win 2 against 3, okay? 2 against 3 from deep, 2 against 3 from N1s. You're not going to win that way consistently.
If the shooting is anemic, if the offense is anemic, like, what are you going to hang your hat on? You're going to basically have to play perfect basketball from a turnover perspective. So they're going to have to lead the league with the least amount of turnovers, and they're going to have to play top 10 defense. Like that. That's the only path if they're really going to approach this season with some of the offensive question marks unanswered as they are today. And, Tyler will help a lot of this stuff, but there's still question marks about roles and how all the pieces fit. So a lot more to come, but initially the 3-point shooter, no one jumps off the page as the guy that's going to fill that role. And they haven't gone into a season without that in quite some time. Duncan has just always been that. And then they've had more guys, whether it be having Alec Burks or having Max Strus. Like there was 2 or 3 of those guys on the roster. Now there's none.
Right. And again, the hope is that Norm covers some of that stuff up with the ability to shoot 3, shot over 40% from 3 last year, but it's the gravity that concerns me. It's funny how I know we do this and we do so many podcasts, but it's like, I felt like people were too down on this team nationally. And now as I see people perking up to this team, I'm like, wait, hold on a second. We know what their flaws are. Don't get too far. Yeah. Maybe not that. Don't go that far. There's some issues here still. Like, it's like, it's like we're carrying water for both sides. That's kind of what we do. All right. Greg, appreciate it. Again, Cash App, use the code SECURE10. That's a new code there. Get your $10 by sending money to me. Also, PrizePicks, use the code 5, FIVE, and get your $50 in free lineups. Have a good one, everybody.